Yeah. It was just, again, I would like to see us score a little bit sooner, and maybe put up a little bit more than just like a solo shot or whatnot. But I mean, even on G's, day to day, she didn't have her best stuff, but still, it keeps us in a game to be able to win, and that's what's so awesome about our pitching staff. Super important for Bree to come in and do what she did today. We could have very easily gone back to Aaliyah, but I think just in the long stretch, we needed to get her that opportunity, and it's time. It's time for her, and she's really worked through some things, and I'm so glad that she got to win in that way.
Two strikes, 3 hits with 2 strikes in that bottom of the seventh. Molina starting with her with the poke hit to right with 2 strikes. Jazz 2-2 hits the double. And then obviously Kennedy with the base hit down the right side with 2 strikes. What does that say about your approach there? 2 strikes, 3 hits in that seventh inning.
Yeah. We talk a lot about two-strike approach and two-strike hitting. And there are times that maybe we don't shorten up in the game. And you saw that a little bit when we hit some of those deep fly balls to the fence. I think it was in the third and fourth inning. But when we need to put the game in motion, then we do shorten up and just work on putting the ball in play and putting pressure on the defense. And maybe we should do it early in the game so that we don't have these gray hairs growing in. But it attributes definitely to their focus when we do work on these things in our hitting circuits, and just being able to do it and take deep breaths. And you saw it. You mentioned 2 seniors and then a freshman. So just for the freshmen to be able to watch those seniors do that and keep their composure, it really helps our younger kids be able to learn that at a very quick time level, and be able to come out on top with it.
You mentioned Brianna coming out in relief, keeping you in that game. How huge is that for her, not just today, but moving forward? I know you've been working with her coming out of the bullpen recently for a moment like this.
Yeah. Starting conference, 4 games against the same team. Like you said, we've been trying to do it here and there before getting to this point. But what better time than now for it to come about? So she's going to be the turning point for us to continue to stay in games, because we do have great pitchers, but still great hitters can catch up to great pitchers when you see them, gosh, I don't know, 15, 16 times in a weekend. There at some point there's no secrets. So it's just a matter of, who's on and who executes at the right time. So to have Bree, like you said, at that time and moving into conference is going to be very big for us.
Your pitching staff as a whole, 6 runs allowed in the 4 games, only 1 home run. They live off the long ball. Just talk about your staff for the 4 games. 4-game series, this is going to be the norm to hold a team like them. They're capable of scoring in bunches to 6 runs and only 1 home run.
Yeah. Ironically, we gave up, I think, the most home runs we had all year in one day, 2 Wednesdays ago. And so our staff had really worked on, when we want the ball down, we want the ball down. When we want it up, we want it up. And so they've done a really good job at keeping the one swing score out of the the scenario. So mixing speeds and just really allowing their ball to move for them has been big. So I love their response to that. And 2 weeks ago, like I said, that was kind of shocking to us because it's never really happened. We've never given up so many home runs in a game and so many home runs in two games. And so to be able to buckle down and have that happen, come about for us in the games has been really big for our pitching staff. And I love what Coach Kendra has done for them in the bullpen, and love to see it kind of transpire out into the game.
Talk about the mental toughness of your team is developing, because some things didn't go your way in this game. There were some calls that didn't go your way. There were some plays that wasn't executed, didn't go your way either. Where the play at second base at fifth, you get runner out at second base and things like that. But this team doesn't seem to get fazed by any of that.
Yeah. Elo, I would say maybe 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 3.5 weeks ago, the team was getting fazed by it, and that was something that I had to really look in the mirror and say, like, I've got to approach that differently. I can't let it affect me because they follow me. And so I've tried to just stay calm and, obviously talk it out and see if there's a different scenario when it comes down to it. But and they've followed in that way, and they've kind of they've allowed me to take a part of that, and they just focus on playing. And it shows that they're very hard to beat when they stay that way.
Describe this week. It started out with the Florida game, the emotional game of there, the way you win it, coming from behind, bottom, seventh inning, walk-off home run. Now you get into a 4-game series against Houston. You win on a walk-off by Cody in that bottom of the 8th in game 1. You win a doubleheader. Yesterday, you fell behind in 3 of the 4 games, come back. Today, down to your last out, you win on a walk-off. 3 walk-offs in a week. That's a pretty unique week, a special week here that not many will forget, but can certainly give a lot of the girls confidence moving forward.
Oh yeah, I mean, just the ability to stay within themselves and stay composed when the game is on the line is great experience for them. And I should talk to you first before I talk to the team, because I don't remember these things all the way. I just think about like, okay, this is what we need to do to get better. And so I should remind them like, hey, great job. But I think I did say a few good jobs, but I could be better with that. But it is, like you said, it's awesome to be a part of, awesome to experience. And, I hope that we continue to keep learning, because there are going to be times where the game's not going to go our way. And it'll be like a matter of inches of a reason. And we have to understand that right now it's feeling good. And, that's just the way the game goes. So love to get that experience, and everything that we've experienced. It's kind of like a season of, I don't know, where the stars are aligning, because we are getting to experience so many different situations so early. And I love it because, we do have a very, very young team. We talk about it like Jada Cody, that was her very first conference game this week. And same with Shannon and Kennedy and Jules. And, a lot of our, Georgia Blair and Justine and Gianna hadn't played in an American conference game yet. So there was a lot of first for us this weekend. So it's awesome to be able to see us navigate through that and have the success that we've had.
Well, I want you to expand on that, because you're right. It was the first experience of a conference series against Houston. It was a longtime rivals. It was an emotional game, intense game on both sides there. That's kind of life in the American Conference. I think it's a big learning curve, right, for the players moving forward, because it's going to be like this almost every week.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, I know Houston's record right now doesn't show what type of team they are. They've played a very tough schedule, just as we have. And so, they could have very easily taken 2 or 3 of those games this weekend. Again, matter of inches. So I think that that for them is going to move them forward. But with us having those conference games, the first conference games, like I forget we have a lot of freshmen on our roster, even though they are sophomores, and they did have a little bit of success last year. They still haven't had to navigate through the entire season, so to speak. And, there's only 3 people on the team that know what postseason is like. So it's going to be exciting to see us continue to keep learning and growing. And I'm enjoying that process as a coach and as a part of this program.
And now you'll take this young team on the road. I don't think I've ever said this before, but an 8-game conference road trip. It's very unique. You go to Tulsa, which a lot of them I don't think have been to Tulsa. You've been to Tulsa. They will begin their conference play against you next week. Then you got East Carolina. Just talk about this road trip. It's unique. 8 games, but it's all conference series.
Yeah, I think that, again, here we go. We lucked out because our conference tournament is going to be in Tulsa. And so it's going to be, we're going to be able to get the lay of the land in 4 games, I hope. that will allow us to get the lay of the land. And then I just love that we have the opportunity to go do that and then be able to play there again. And it's kind of like familiar and similar to them. So, and then as far as going to ECU, I don't care if Tulsa dropped a few games yesterday. Tulsa and ECU, they're tough. They are, I don't want to say scrappy because I don't want people to think that's disrespect, but like, they're just that thorn in your side. They will not leave, even if you're ahead. And that happened to us 2 years ago when I was, for my first time with the American Conference, we were ahead against Tulsa. I think we had the opportunity to sweep, and we did not take 1 game. So that's something that sticks in my mind. And with ECU, the same. We've got I think we did sweep on that year in 2019, but I remember those games being like, they're one swing away from taking this from us. So I love that we're going to have those opportunities to get that experience. And again, for those girls our girls to learn from all different types of teams and players. You know, those two teams play the game very differently, and it's good to have that experience.
Well, and it shows the league is a top 5 conference in the country, the fifth strongest conference in the league in the original RPI, all the national media. I know the ESPN has been talking about the American. I mean, that's been important, I think, to get that word out. You know, you mentioned East Carolina. They beat Wichita State yesterday on a grand slam in the 7th. That's life in the American. It's these tense games, and it's why it's one of the top 5 strongest leagues in the sport.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and that's what's so cool. It doesn't matter if like, oh, so and so did this game. It's a completely different game because, like you saw with the Wichita ECU, you know, Wichita won big the first game, and then they've been really close and went another way. So that's what's so awesome about being in this conference. There's no give me game, regardless of people's records. Like I said, Houston played us tough all 4 games. And we've played teams that have had, you know, that have been undefeated that haven't played us as tough. So it's great to have that and also know that, you know, they're playing as strong against everybody else and the outside opponents from our conference, because it puts us in a really good position, like you said, RPI wise, and getting more than 2, 3, 4. I mean, we have an opportunity to get quite a few teams in to postseason this year.